Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that helped Danny Ocean engineer a giant heist. I'm your host Chad.
I'm your host Rob, and today we're going to be reviewing Payday 2.
And as always, you can check us out over at Twitter at Epic Geek Out. Also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/epicgeekout. And also check out the website, www.epicgeekout.com. But let's get into our review of Payday 2.
So today we're talking about Payday 2, which is the sequel to Payday, obviously, by Overkill Software, and it's a first-person co-op game. It doesn't really have like a single player per se, but there are basically different maps and missions that you can go on where you're part of a bank heist crew, which is pretty cool that this exists. And I mean, not cool that it is cool, but it's surprising that this doesn't already exist. Is kind of what I meant to say.
Well, it did. Payday.
Well, no, but I mean like this franchise. Because I mean we have Grand Theft Auto, but like in terms of like being in a crew that you have to like engineer and strategize the heists, really cool. So the whole point, you know, there's different maps, but then there's also different types of heists. Everything's dynamically generated. So like you do the jewelry store, it's not the same every time. You get dropped off in different locations. You have to get picked up in different locations, different objectives each time. There's multiple day heists where they take place over a couple days. You're in a crew of 4 people. And you, depending on the mission, you have to do certain things, whether it's steal, crack into a safe and steal a lot of money, or do damage in a mall,
and
or
you can like
whatever.
Use different ways. So you like use a drill, but then the drill might like malfunction. Then you have to get that started again. And like things take time in this game. Like it's not like, oh, hit a button, that's going to do that. You know, you have to wait till it loads around. And,
exactly.
I mean,
and amongst this, there's cops coming, and you have to kind of defend against them, and just a lot of different gameplay elements, which is pretty cool. There's also a little bit of RPG tied in where you kind of can spec out your character to have different abilities. There's 4 different classes per se, where like one's a mastermind who's like the leader, and he can like tie people up faster is like one of his first skills that he gets, and
which then you can trade hostages for like people who get caught and stuff like that, which I think is pretty neat.
Of different cool layers to this game. Online, because you're playing against other people.
We played through Steam on the computer.
Correct, that's a good point, because it is out on PC and supposedly on Xbox, but you can't find it anywhere on Xbox or
and
PS3. It's a boxed version. The first one was just a downloadable game. This one has a boxed version, but nowhere really has it. They had some shipping issues. At least when we purchased it, I don't know. At this point, it could be ironed out.
But like Steam, I think it's $30. I think the Xbox one was still going for $60.
Or 40, I think.
Okay, I think there is definitely a price difference. So Steam was
so we
the
checked
cheaper
out PC.
option.
So what did you think of time with it?
So I had a limited time with the game, unfortunately. My computer is old, and I didn't really check the specs going into it. I mean, like I could run Guild Wars 2 and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll just download it. So I could not even play it on my computer, which is no fault to the game, but it is kind of a warning flag. Do check the specs. We got this recommendation for this game from Jeff Kanata and Garnet Lee's podcast, Weekend Confirmed. I heard them talking about it, and we're like, okay, cool, this is a little, it sounds like a fun game. They just said that the graphics weren't that great, which they're not. So I'm like, oh, I'll be able to run this. I was wrong. So I had to play it on Chad's computer. So I only got in, a handful of matches just to get like the general sense of it. So, consider my review very just topical and just a first sense of the game, more of an impression really. But I liked it. I think that, like they said on the podcast, there's a hard break into this game because you're kind of just thrown into these matches. Co-op, that's a mixed bag all the time. It could be good, it could be bad. It depends on who you get, set up with. I kind of had no idea what I was doing in the first one. I'm like running around, just trying to, get the control, the scheme laid out and whatnot. Luckily, it was an easier level, and we still were able to complete it. It was the town, so, you had to steal money and just get to the van and get out safely. But I think it's great, and I think if you really, if you can get 4 people to play this game, I think it would be tremendous amounts of fun, because if you can actually communicate with the people, I think it would be so many layers and so well done. I just joined a game like kind of midway through, and like you can scout things before you have to put your mask on to actually like see, oh well, the safe's back there, so let's hit this place, this place, this place. If we have time, maybe we'll do that. If not, we can make our exit. Things like that. So I think it's very layered. The graphics could definitely use an upgrade. Sometimes it did just seem like a mode that could have been in a Call of Duty game or something like that. I mean, it's cops versus robbers. It's a childhood game that people used to pretend playing, but with on the computer. 100%. But they do it so well, and there's so many little intricacies to it that I think it's worth the price point for $30. It reminds me a lot of Left 4 Dead. It's those areas. It's that kind of graphic system. It's like that feel because the cops are coming kind of in waves and stuff like that. Right. So, but I think it's definitely worth the price point. Make sure your computer can run it.
Yeah, I think the key with this game, concept wise, awesome. I mean, just the fact that, like I said before, like this hasn't been done before to this level, I think is crazy because it works so well together. Like just the fact that
it's a stand. I mean, it's. I'm surprised it hasn't been done more.
And just like by the nature of like the different classes makes so much sense. The gameplay and strategy is so cool, but the problem is you're playing online with people, and as always that happens. So like the problem is like if one person doesn't do what the team wants to do, then you're screwed. And that happened to me more times than not. That they kind of just went rogue, run in, smash everything, steal it, leave. I mean, and I found myself in certain levels where there's more like nuance involved. Would be way more fun. That's why I think if you can get 4 people to play. This would be an amazing experience just because it's like so different than things out there. I mean, yes, you got that shooter aspect, which is similar, but just it's a game that demands strategy, and that's just really cool.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Maybe after a certain amount of hours of this, it kind of might get repetitive, but
for $30, I mean,
for $30,
it's not even the $60 break-in point. So.
And it's cool that like the maps are dynamically generated, so like there's only a certain amount, but every time you go into it, it's not always the same thing you're doing. You're getting launched in different places, different ways to escape. So that in and of itself is cool that it's not... I mean, it has to do that because it's not a single-player game, so it has to rely on that, which is cool. The RPG elements were a little shallow because I felt like there was... I mean, you can allocate... You don't have to like go up one tree. You can allocate across several.
Well, I think they did that so you can switch quickly.
Yeah.
So if, like, let's say 2 people on your team have heavy... ballistic vests and are moving slow, that then you could switch to be the fast person. And they wanted to make it more dynamic like that.
Yeah, well, so that's a good point. Like, before each mission, you can, like, set your load up out. You can strategize with people and plan. And, like, different missions might require C4, so, like, you have to make sure someone has that. But, like, the RPG elements where you allocate points towards your character that you're leveling up, you get certain abilities, like deploying an ammo bag versus, like, a medical bag or whatever like that. But I feel like there's, like, clearly in each tree, there's 3 options per level. Like, one's the obvious answer. And like, the others are kind of just thrown in there. I felt a little bit. But, yeah, I think overall, like, I had a ton of fun just going to town on cops and stuff. Like, it was just... I mean, it's a lot of fun because you're in there and you do feel like you're working together even when your team's being jerks and not working with you. It is, like... and then you're helping each other up.
You can be revived
it's really
like
cool
that.
In that sense. I'm trying to compare it to something, but I can't really because it's... I mean, almost like Horde mode a little bit because you're like holding
Horde mode Left 4 Dead, it really has that feel, I feel.
But yeah, overall, really cool. You also, which is pretty cool, you get like your own safe house pad that you can decorate. So when you win a mission, you get a certain amount of money that you can keep to buy weapons and stuff like that. And then you get a lot more money that goes to an offshore account that you can use then to like upgrade your pad and make it look cool and like buy cosmetic stuff for your mask and stuff like that. So I think that's a pretty cool way to like get around the fact that you have so much money and they want to make it realistic. Because that makes sense.
That is cool,
offshore,
And see, that's the kind of things that I didn't really get to in the game. Because I was just actually playing.
And there's a really cool training section in the in your safe house where you can try out the different types of lock mechanisms and stuff like that. Cool. But yeah, it's definitely worthy. If you get a chance to check it out, I would say see if it's going to be available soon to download on the Xbox Store and
I would love it on Xbox.
But I don't. I mean, unfortunately, in Steam it's available now, but in stores it's been kind of sparse from what I've seen. But it's definitely worth a play if you also have like the headset. Totally. Way better because it's you get to communicate more. So
absolutely.
Check out Payday 2. It's a lot of fun. So it's that time of the episode. We like to give some thanks. Rob, what are you thankful for today?
I got the chance to check out another movie this weekend, and I'm going to thank We Are the Millers. I'm going to thank this movie because it's probably going to be out of theaters soon, And I think it's just a perfect comedy that you can grab from Redbox and have like a group of like 5 friends over and just watch it. Mm-hmm. It is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. It didn't,
Disclaimer.
you know, some of the characters, like Ed Helms' character in the movie was just so stupid and unbelievable. Oh, I bought an orca. Why is that funny? Like, how did that test well when they tested the movie? But there's enough moments in this movie that you get a laugh out of it. You know, thankfully we have the Movie Pass, you know, subscription, whatever, that, you know, I didn't pay for this movie. So I was very pleased that I got to see it. Jennifer Aniston looks just tremendous in the movie, and it's worth watching just for that. But, you know, it's fun, and I think it's a good movie to watch with friends where, you know, you can pay attention, you don't have to pay attention, because it's very much a one-trick pony where you know exactly what's going to happen. But there's enough funny moments throughout, so, you know, check that out when, you know, it hits Redbox.
Cool. Yeah, so I got another game this week, Madden 25. I know you're not a fan of the Madden.
Madden
franchise.
has caused so many controllers in my life to be broken that I had to go to GameStop and be like, I got insurance. Thanks, please.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, nothing groundbreaking, obviously. I mean, this is the 25th anniversary of it.
Nuts.
I haven't bought a Madden game in a couple years, so, like, I love sports games just because you can pick up, play, like, you know, a level, whatever. Or a game, and I usually buy like the baseball games every like 3 years. I think at that point, then like I need the new people now, the new mechanics. Madden I haven't bought for a couple years, and they changed a lot of stuff last year. This is more just the same with that. But you know they have this new like running back mode with like ultra precision. Like that's the gimmick this year. You know,
I'm also not good at those games. That's why it drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's fun. The only thing that's weird is like we're from Philly and they still have the Spectrum in the background. And that's been going for a couple years.
Oh, that's funny.
So, I mean, like, they definitely don't do the research and update the models for sure, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, and, you know, it's just a fun game to play casually, I think, you know. And,
for sure.
And I haven't ventured online yet, and that's where I get frustrated usually, too. So
I can't even do it.
I still do against the computer, because I feel like even that beats me at a lot of times. So, as you said last week, you're excited for football season, I am as well, so
very
check it out. Check out Madden. It's, you know, it's a staple.
It's the 25th year, for God's sakes.
Yeah. And it's cool, actually, one thing that is cool, between the loading screens, they show you, like, older versions and, like, what was cool in, like, 93, and, like, the graphics are crazy. Cool. So we're going to be back next week. We're actually going to be down on vacation at the shore, so we're going to be shooting on location.
So no green screen, maybe a bay in the background. We'll see.
A couple beers, something.
Yeah.
So make sure you check back for that. We're going to be talking about maybe a board game and a movie.
So, something like that.
We appreciate you watching. As always, leave some comments below. We'll see you next time.